Hello and welcome to tonight's Get in Tune. I am Michael Gracia. Um, I'm going to have a really fun show tonight. I'm excited to talk to my guest. He's a cartoonist, he's an animator, he's a voice actor. He's been publishing his stuff on YouTube for quite a while. I've been watching his stuff for I don't even know how long since I discovered his work. I've enjoyed I've enjoyed his animations. By the way, kids, if there's any kids watching right now, this is going to be a little PG and above tonight. My guest's work is not always 100% kid friendly, so things that I'll be showing, definitely 13 years and up for this stuff. Um, so let me bring on cartoonist, animator, voice actor, and owner and head of Hazard Studios, Ted Hazard. Hello.
Hey, what's up?
How you doing? And Petey and Pyle say, "Yay, Ted Hazard!" So thank you guys for tuning in. Um, so Ted, before we get into talking about your work that you've done and the show that you're going to be premiering some clips on and some artwork on tonight, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? How you got into um, animation, voice acting, who some of your inspirations were.
Well, I was born in the wonderful year of 1986, so
Okay.
I got to experience the okay part of animation in the 80s and the wonderful 90s world of animation.
Hmm.
And when I was a kid, I always drawing was like I've been drawing stuff since I was 3.
Yeah.
And it was just something I always took for granted, and just always drew little like comic strips in my books and stuff. And then when I got into high school, I didn't pay attention to anything in class. I just drew comics in like my books that I was supposed to be using to take notes. And then one day someone's like, "Those are pretty good. You should like sell them or something." So then I get this smart idea of doing them a little better on like the white paper and Xeroxing them at Staples after school and then selling them for like $2 to people in school and then at the mall on Friday nights. And I was making pretty good money starting
Wow.
out.
That's
Um, Eventually, I got in trouble with the mall security guards and had to stop. But
Gotta get the
um,
kiosks there to sell.
yeah, and I did the comic strip thing for a little while, like a while. Like
Hmm.
that's where Ted and Simon came from. That was originally a web comic. And then luckily I got picked up by an independent publisher, two of them at the time,
Okay.
to do two different series. And I was getting paid okay money, like not enough to, live off of, but it was a pretty good experience. And then, they ran out of money, so it was like, well, series is over. Sorry.
Yeah.
Um and then I'm a musician too, so I kind of like stretch my time out with that.
Mhm.
And a lot of my musician friends had always said, they're like, your comics are really cool and stuff. Why don't you do animation? And my response was always like, my jokes wouldn't work in animation, or I never really got into it, or I don't have time to do animation, which really was me saying I'm scared to even try it. And then I remember like yesterday exactly why I started doing animation. I was at my girlfriend at the time's family Thanksgiving dinner,
Mhm.
and they're like, "Whoa, Mr. Hazard, what do you do?" And I'm like, "Oh, well, I draw like cartoons." "Oh, you mean like those things on TV?" And I'm like, "No, like the ones in like newspapers and stuff." And they're like, "Oh." Like they kind of had this look of disgust on their face, like, "Oh, you're one of those guys." So I'm driving home from Philadelphia, and I'm like, ooh, those, ooh, like, cause they had one of those like big rich people houses in Philly,
Mhm.
like on the outskirts, and
Okay.
I'm like, that really got to me. So I woke up the next morning, and I'm like, you know what, like, I'm gonna teach myself how to do animation. And I think I woke up, I watched a couple YouTube videos, and then I just threw something together that night. and that was the first Wine and Dine short. And that was the first night I voice acted too, because I'm like, well, I need to put something on here. And I just had like a microphone laying around, and I'm like, let's do this. And it's like a dumb little like 15 to 20-second clip, but it's, for a first time, it's a pretty good clip. And then from there, I just started doing tiny little shorts of my 2 strips I was doing at the time, Crust Tunes and Wine and Dine. And then my friend Chris Decker, who actually is on Ted and Simon, said, why don't, instead of doing an animated 20-second clip every couple of days, why don't you just consolidate those clips every week and make like a full episode?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I was like, I don't know if that's going to work. And plus, I didn't have a story. So one day, I was in the shower where I get all my good ideas, and I kind of just thought of this idea for Crust Tunes. I'm like, what if I did an episode where something happens to their tour van, and then they kind of branched off into me writing a couple of jokes into a story, and then that was the first Crust Tunes episode. And ever since then, I've been doing like the 5-minute shorts.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll go back and forth from doing the 5-minute ones and back to doing like the 20-second, 30-second ones. But since then, it's just all been uphill from there, because like I've done animation for music videos before. But like I'm really trying to stay doing my own work as opposed to other people's, because I feel like I have a lot of stories to tell, and don't really feel like telling other people's stories.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Now, when you started animation that first night, what software were you using? Just out of curiosity.
You're gonna laugh at this. The way I did it the first time was very 1990s Matt and wait, what the hell were their names? I always get them messed up. Matt Stone and Trey Parker,
Okay,
South Park style.
Yeah.
I drew my characters.
Mm-hmm.
I cut them out in Photoshop,
Mm-hmm.
and then I kind of moved them around in Photoshop and saved everything as like a different frame.
Wow.
And then I put it together in Windows Movie Maker, and it's very noticeable. But I did a couple episodes of Crust Tunes that way, and they came out pretty good. I mean, now I kind of do like a similar method, but like very, very more advanced. But I think when I was like, getting ready to start animation, I think one of the videos I did watch was that South Park documentary about how they make an episode in 7 days. And I was like I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh, it's all just layers. Like if I knew that, I would have done it years ago. But yeah, a lot of my stuff, it's like kind of like, I don't know, I would say it's a little bit of a hybrid of stop motion, just not with clay. Because I move everything kind of myself. Everything is hand drawn. I'll throw like maybe photos in the background, like sky or something, just to give it a little bit more pop. But it's mostly, it's all me. It's all my work. So that's what counts.
And how long does it take you? I know you're saying you're doing like 5-minute stuff now. How long does it take you to do like a 5-minute episode working like that? Like with the method you're using now?
Yeah. They were taking me a little bit longer before, but now that I kind of have the process streamlined, 5-minute episodes will normally take me a couple of weeks.
Okay.
Just depends really how much time I have to do them, and
yeah,
if I get the voice actors' voices in time and stuff.
Yeah, I know. That's always the important thing. Yeah. I'm working on an animation right now. I'm waiting on the voices. As soon as I get that, I'm all set to go. So,
yeah. But like the little 15-second, 20-second episodes of Total Crap, they normally take me a day. Like someone will get me the voices. I do the voices. Half the time I'm like, I don't even know what voice I'm going to use. I'm like, it's like, I'll write a script and I'll send it to somebody with a YouTube channel and be like, would you want to be on an episode of Total Crap? They're like, oh, absolutely. And then I write the script. I'm like, here it is. They're like, which character am I playing? I'm like, I don't care. Voice them both, and I'll figure out which one I'm doing.
Well, you're a very kind of spur of the moment type of worker with that. That
Yes.
could be very useful. That's a useful skill to have.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you were starting your first two animation series were based on your web comics. One,
Mm-hmm.
what were the names of them again? I'm sorry.
The first one that I did an animation of was Wine and Dine,
Wine and Dine.
which I started writing for a magazine in 2013. That's mostly it's. I worked in the food service industry for a very long time.
Same here.
And it's about basically a head chef trying to run his kitchen, but dealing with just people who do not want to help him at all. And I would basically just funnel in my daily experiences from working in a kitchen into that.
Yeah.
And eventually I started doing it daily on Facebook. And it got pretty popular. A lot of people, they were telling me that they preferred it to my other webcomic, which is animated, Crust Tunes.
Mm-hmm.
But see, it's weird because Wine and Dine was more of a slice of life kind of comic, where Crust Tunes was more based on music and like the music scene aspect of my life. So they kind of like ran together side by side, and you had like that half of the fan base that's like, oh well, Wine and Dine's like way wittier and the jokes are a lot more relatable, and people who like read Crust Tunes are like, Wine and Dine's stupid. I like this better.
Well, with and how long have you been animating both of those series now?
I started in 2014.
Okay.
Which is also the same year I started voice acting because I didn't do it beforehand.
I think a lot of animators, especially independent animators, kind of fall into voice acting because first, sometimes we're too poor to hire voice actors, and second, it's a very solitary thing animating, so we just kind of need the voices, so we just do everything.
Yeah.
And I will not say I am a voice actor, but I have voiced characters for my stuff in the past.
Yeah.
And I haven't done any. Well, I've done one thing for someone else, but it's strictly my stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that's how. And a lot of animators or cartoonists or people whose work ends up animated end up, I think, at some point voicing a character.
Oh yeah, everybody. Even Bruce Timm in his stuff, he's not a voice actor. He just does like Batman cartoons and Superman cartoons, but it's like he was like in like he like does bit parts on some episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
yeah. And so you were saying South Park was kind of an influence because of the animation style. And your work does have a South Park feel to it when I watch it. And I know you said that's how you kind of learned watching the video and say, oh, I could just do this, watching YouTube videos and doing this. Was that something that you just like the style, so you decided to kind of just stick with it with everything? Have you thought about working in other types of styles, or?
I mean, I've always kind of drawn in the same style.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of feel like the way I animate it, it really complements the drawing style.
Yes.
So I mean, especially for the new series, I'm gonna kind of stick with the same style for now.
Yeah.
Kind of, I'd like to leave my comfort zone at some point. I just don't know if now is the time, because people kind of will like. I feel like on YouTube, like people will see something I've done and they'll be like, "Oh, that's a Ted Hazard cartoon." You can tell by the way his characters' heads are way too big for their bodies.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually going to show your YouTube page right now, not the other, not the thing we're talking about later. So you guys at home, I just want to show you some of his stuff here. That's not the screen I want. Here it is. So this is your YouTube page. And if I'll go to playlists first. So you can see he's done a lot of stuff. This is going back since 2014. Excuse me. Is there anything in particular here you'd like me to show? So you got like 3 seasons of Crust Tunes here, Ted and Simon, Wine and Dine. You know, you got everything here. Simon and Rusty. We're going to talk about all this stuff in a moment, but anything really
you know what you should show? Go on Total Crap. Show the balloon episode, because
crap, there it is.
I really liked. I honestly, and a lot of people think that's the best representation of that series, or if not that one, the breakfast one.
I'm good
because that one's.
I'll do the balloon one here.
Okay.
I gotta say, I've been on and I've watched a lot of your stuff. I don't know everything that I've 100% seen yet. Let me just full screen it.
Hey, buddy, what the hell? What are you doing here anyways?
I have always been here. I have floated through these skies for what seems to be a millennia. The sounds I've heard, places I've been, the things I've done.
Yeah, you do realize helium only lasts like 3 days, right?
Oh.
All right, before something else starts, so we can talk. So you guys, that was a clip of Total Crap. Now, so these are just really quick shorts.
Right.
Why the name Total Crap?
Well, Total Crap was actually a graphic novel I did back in 2009.
Okay.
Which I did right after my publishers fired me. And they were like, yeah, we don't have any money, so we can't give you work. So I kind of like had a little bit of a depressive spell, and I really wanted to get back into working on something again, but I kind of felt just super defeated. Yeah. And then I just started writing these dumb, nonsensical little comic strips. Mm-hmm. And that's basically, some of these shorts are based on those. Yeah. But there's a lot of them that are like newer, because I've been getting more ideas for the dumb little puns, when it's all basically just stupid puns. Yeah. But that's basically what Total Crap is. It's something I do when I feel like I'm overly stressed in the creative aspect of my life. And then, it's just something short, fun.
Whoops, I didn't play that. Sorry. I was going.
Yeah, it's just something.
Hey, buddy, what the hell?
Sorry. The way they do it just bugs me sometimes.
Yeah.
There you go.
Anyways, yeah, it's just something like that I can do that's still creative, but it's not going to stress me out as much as doing, say, an 8-minute episode of Ted and Simon. Yeah. Which, I did the 3 episodes of Ted and Simon. They're like, each one of them is a masterpiece. But doing 10 minutes of animation like every month is insane, especially by yourself.
Yes, I agree.
So after episode 3, which episode 3 was really hard to do, I feel like my body was just like telling me, it's like, you need to do something else that isn't this, because you're stressing yourself out. Yeah. And then I think I just sat down one day. I did the Teapot episode. I got Zach from P-Pop and my buddy Elvis to do the other voices, and I did that in an afternoon, and I was like, this was fun. I'm going to do this again next week. So, and that's where the 18 episodes of Total Crap came from.
Oh, that's great. I love little shorts like that. I do. Because it's almost like watching, I don't like the term, but a motion comic. It's like something I would read in 3 panels or something, and boom, it's done. I love quick things like that.
Yeah.
Just looking, I don't know if there's anything else I'm going to show just because of time wise.
Yeah.
But I recommend you guys, scrolling across the bottom is Ted's Instagram and Twitter, which is at Ted Hazard. 2Ds 1Z. And it's also underscore, and also his YouTube page, which is his name. So if you look up his name, I'll put the links in the comments so you guys can check it out after the show. But I do recommend going on, subscribing, and checking out his work. It's got some really great humor in here. I've enjoyed all the stuff that I've watched. And like like you saw, and like he said, it has that little bit of a South Park vibe to it, which is I think what kept me into your work. 'Cause I'm a big South Park fan, like huge South Park fan. It's one of those shows. It's been running for I don't even know how many years now. It's I can't even remember now, but
it's been a very long time.
It's been since the 90s. I remember that.
Yeah.
And the only other show I watch regularly, in addition to South Park, is The Simpsons. It's been forever. Simpsons might be my all-time favorite, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's really good stuff. Check it out. If for time-wise, I would love to play more and show you guys more of his stuff. But
you know what you could play?
What
is where would the little promo video for that's on the front of the YouTube page? I'm not sure where that would be on there.
On your page, probably. Or about. Maybe if I go to about. Description, no.
Go to.
It should be on the home page then, but I don't see anything.
Yeah, usually it's like the first one that pops up.
Yeah, I thought that was about. Do you know what it's under?
Let me look it up real quick. Because I'm on YouTube also. Because I'm watching the comments.
Oh, you should be able to view the comments in the StreamYard app that I'm using. You should see a private chat box at the top. I forgot to tell you this. I apologize before I went on air. A private chat, but then there's another tab that says comments.
Oh.
In the stream.
Oh, I see it now. Yeah.
Yeah, you can click on all that.
Come on, there we go. Here, let's see if this works for you.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
You want me to share the screen or?
Yeah, I sent it to your
Oh, my
Facebook. Yeah.
1 second, I gotta log into Facebook then. I turn that off so I don't hear the beeps and stuff. I close
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Whoops, that's not what I wanted. The wrong one. Oh man, I hate this stuff so much. Just nothing ever seems to. You click a button and it doesn't click the one you want it to click. Let me close out of here. I'm gonna come.
There it is.
Patreon ad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I did that right after I got laid off from my job last year.
Don't subscribe to Ted Hazard's Patreon page, because this loser lost his job. What?
And you're still doing Patreon?
Yeah, the Patreon's there. I haven't really been doing much with it, but I think when the new series starts to gear up, I'm going to be hitting that real hard.
Cool. I look forward to that. Okay. All right. So, Crust Tunes. We haven't really talked about that. Can you tell us what Crust Tunes is about? I mean, you said it was a little bit more, what was it, story based than the Slice of Life.
Yeah. I've been playing music since high school, and one of the weird things about the animation / comic part of my life and the music part of my life is they didn't really intersect until about 2013 when I started doing Crust Tunes as a comic. And basically, what Crust Tunes is it was a strip comic based on like the alternative music scene. And I would take little archetypes of different, people in the independent music scene, and I turned them into their own characters. Like Krusty Keenan, he's a gutter punk, like a gutter punk rocker. And his best friend Hawk is like a trust punk, which is basically a punk rocker who has a lot of money.
Mhm.
And then you'd have your other characters like Aaron the Anarchist and Foxy the Feminist and all stuff like that. And I did it for, I would say, before the animation, I did it for about a year. And then when I got into doing animation and I was doing Wine and Dine, people were asking, they're like, well, when are you going to turn Crustoons into a cartoon? And I was like never really thought about that. And I'm like, it's kind of like a,
I'm sorry.
you're right.
Yeah, the wind from my window being open just pushed my door open.
Oh, geez.
I don't want.
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna have to close my. Okay, let me close my window just a bit. We got a little bad weather over by me here, so.
Yeah, it's kind of nasty out here today too.
Yeah. All right, bring it down a bit, but still leave it open so I get some air in here. Sorry about that. I don't want to have the TV from the next room or my cat just walking in, and then it's all making sure my cat isn't screwing up any of my stuff in here.
Oh yeah. Dustin from Humor Waffle will tell me constantly that when he's trying to animate his cat, just walks over whatever he's doing, or like we did like a voiceover session for one of his cartoons one time, me, him, and Petey from Petey and Pyle, and he's literally trying to do a voice and his cat just walks right up, butt right in the face. right on the Zoom camera. Okay, so anyway, Crustoons, it was like such an obvious thing, like, hey, animation, put local music from local bands on there, it'll work. And it's like I had a built-in soundtrack to it already. So I started doing it, and it kind of took off, with me playing in a band and knowing a lot of people in other bands, and like they thought it was really cool that I was using their music, using it to help promote their music. But strangely enough, it got a lot more people who weren't really into alternative music watching it. Like they're like, oh, this is funny. I don't get half the jokes, but it's hilarious to see these three constantly get into trouble.
Yeah. No, it was good. I've watched. I know I haven't watched all of Crustoons. I think I watched definitely the first season, and I think most of the second season. I have to go back and watch some stuff. But
you could notice between the second season and the third season how better I got at animation, because between season 2 and season 3 I changed up the way I was doing things and got some better software. And then I did a film and another series. I did the little short Wine and Dine 5-episode series that I did after season 2, and then I did the film. I did Life is Pain. And then when I went into season 3 of Crustoons, I was like ready to go. I'm like, we're gonna make this the best season of Crustoons ever. And it was only 12 episodes, but I think every one of those episodes is probably some of my best work. Like, not even just like animation wise, like voice wise and writing, and most of the jokes too. What was I gonna say? Something on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember it, about Crustoons. I'm sure I'll remember it at some point. But anyways, like I think it came out really good. And there's a big difference between the second and third season. Like the second season was like more like kind of story driven, where the third season became kind of more of like each episode was an ensemble cast movie. Okay. Because I started to have a lot more voice actors on the show, and I was like really digging like all the side characters, and I'm like, I want to incorporate these guys a lot more. So like every single episode of season 3, there's like tiny little bit parts for all these characters. Yeah. And it really just like helps the episode just kind of move a lot smoother.
Yeah. No, that's good. And when you have other people doing the voices, I think it, as an animator myself, and doing my own stuff, when I'm just using my voice, I kind of know what I'm doing. Having someone else bring a voice to a character, all of a sudden it's a different thought, because now they're not thinking exactly how I would do
Right.
something. So I'm now playing around, and it's kind of inspiring, and you
Mhm.
want to play around with these characters and add some of their maybe personality to these characters, or at least the expressions and stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, that's actually something I did a lot in season 3 of Crust Tunes. Because like I figured out in the first 2 seasons, like, you know, the characters I draw in the comic strips don't really get a personality until you start giving a voice to them. Then they start getting a personality. And a lot of the people who are voicing some of these characters, like some of their personality traits started rubbing off on the characters.
Yeah.
So I would just write it into the show and into the comic. And then by season 3, I kind of started getting a little bit more into like ad-libbing and improvisation with voice acting.
Mhm.
So like we would just do like 3 different takes on everything, and whatever I thought was the funniest, we just ran with.
Yeah.
And some of these like people who've done voices on the show are people I hang out with, and if they say something ridiculously funny in real life, I'm just like, yo, don't forget that. We're going to put that on the next episode of Crust Tunes. And that happened a couple times.
No, that's great. We're about at the halfway mark for the show. We might go a little longer. That's okay. But you brought a little surprise today.
Yes.
You are starting a new series. I'll let you announce everything, but it's going to be a little longer than the episodes you've done. This is all I know. I'm not sharing any. I want you to give all the information. Let's talk about this. And what do you want me to show first? Just so I can set up? Do you want me to show the clip first or some of the artwork?
You can show some of the artwork. We could do that. I like that idea, and then people are going to want to see the show.
I will let you announce everything while I set up the art.
Okay.
Whenever you're ready.
All right. So. Oh, hold on. My headphones went all wonky. You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Oh, I'm getting it. It's in the one side. Talk again.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay. All right. So some of you watching have probably noticed about a month or 2 ago when I was in Vegas that I announced that have the intentions of putting out a new series on a streaming network that isn't YouTube, which I don't know which one it's going to be yet, but we're going to show the preview of that today, and the show is called Devil May Care, and it is going to be a 6-episode miniseries. It's serialized. It's not your regular Ted Hazard cartoon where something happens in the episode, but it's resolved by the end of the episode. No, this is an ongoing story, which is something I've never done, and I've always wanted to do, and I'm super excited about it. I was so excited about it, I actually wrote the entire thing out before I started it, which is like something nobody does. We'll talk more about the writing of it and where it came from after we show the clip.
All right.
But yeah, it's called Devil May Care.
We'll show some of the artwork now?
Yes, show some of the artwork.
Okay.
So there he is. That's the main character. That's JD.
Oh, right here.
It's his friend in the background, Steve.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll move down here.
My phone's doing things.
Okay.
There they are on a pink geo tracker. There's
okay.
Just your generic state trooper.
And there's State Trooper.
Again.
Down there. And he's drinking what, a soda in here?
Coffee.
Coffee. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I mistook his mustache for a straw. I didn't notice this when I watched the clip. I love that he's got the little driving gloves on.
Oh yeah, when I designed the character, like I was doing the hands, and like that was like every single little aspect of this character was done for a reason, and the driving gloves were something I was like, he definitely needs driving gloves.
Yeah.
He definitely always needs to have a cup of coffee with him. It's like it's one of those aspects of characters that I usually design. They always kind of take some aspect of me myself and take it along with them. Me, I usually show up at places with a big cup of coffee. So I'm like, maybe this guy always has a cup of coffee with him.
Oh, now, is there any hint to his license plate? Anything? Because
I wish I had a bigger picture.
whoops.
But his license plate says 6SX6, and then you have that little New Jersey symbol in the middle, kind of doubling for an I. So I thought that was a cool little,
Okay.
fun little Easter egg for people.
Yeah, I like that.
So if you guys didn't notice this by now, with the New Jersey license plate and the fact that he's basically a demon, yes, he is the Jersey Devil. That's what this show is about. But it's just something I never allude to in the show, or I'm not planning to allude to it.
Okay.
Yeah, but one of the ideas me and some of the people involved had were we're going to try to introduce different cryptids in the story down the line.
Okay.
Like one idea we had was maybe they team up with Bigfoot in an episode, and Bigfoot's a crotchety old man who just doesn't want to leave the woods. Another one was we have the Mothman, who got in a little spiff with the Jersey Devil a couple years ago, and now he can't fly. One of his wings is all messed up, so now he is like a commercial pilot, and he's pretty bitter about it.
That's fun.
But yeah, we have a lot of ideas we want to do with this. Another idea we had was we're going to introduce the notorious Florida Man as a cryptid, and it's just going to be a guy in like a tank top and short shorts and sunglasses with a bad tan.
That's fun.
So
where'd my mouse go? Here it is. So we're going to look at some of the voice cast now.
Okay, this is going to be fun. There's you know him as PDP Peterson. Okay. He's calling himself B Dangerous for Devil May Care, but he's voicing Steve, which basically makes him the star of the show because besides myself, he's doing most of the voice acting.
Yeah. And coming up next is actually a mutual friend of ours and of the show.
Yes, I was when I wrote this character of the Dispatcher, I always kind of had somebody very panicky, very nerdy in mind. And after I met Michael, I'm like, you know what? I'm like Michael would be perfect for that part. So when I started putting things together, I was like, you know what? Hey, Mike, do you want to voice this guy? Because I think he'd be perfect. And I have his lines. His lines were perfect for the character.
And Mike, if you're still watching, thanks for watching. And, I can't wait to see this with your stuff in there. Next up.
Who's that guy? Yeah, it's me. I'm
Yes.
I at first when I wrote this story, I really was like, I don't want to be the main character on one of my shows again. But when we were writing the show, Zach from P-Pop was like, we were just kind of talking about it, and I'm like, I guess I'll voice the main character, but I don't know what I'm gonna do. And he's like, you should just do your impression of Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. And I'm like, well, he is from Jersey, so that's kind of where that came from.
All right, next up.
All right, that is Elvis hasn't really done much voice acting, but he's been in Total Crap. He's doing some other things. He was on P-Pop before, but he's a mutual friend, not mutual for us, but he's my friend.
Yeah.
He's in a band from my area called All the Damn Vampires. And he's always hitting me up for voice acting work. And I told him, because he does have such a good voice. I was like, I'm like, one of my projects I do, you're going to be the villain in. And that was going to be in a Ted and Simon episode. And that never came to fruition. So when I was doing this, I was like, you know what? Why don't you audition for this one guy? So he did, and he hit it out of the ballpark.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my buddy Elvis.
And just being someone who enjoys beards and stuff, this dude has an awesome beard. I love it.
Oh yeah,
I'm
he's a
never,
very handsome man.
never gonna get that long on my beard, but nice.
All right, this here, that's Zachary Thomas. He is the creator and main voice actor of the show P-Pop on YouTube. He has where this character came from. I was originally supposed to voice this character, but when I heard Zach's Alex Jones impression, I asked him, I said, hey, would you want to do that voice for a character on one of my shows? And at first he was a little unsure about it, but when he auditioned, it was like perfect.
Yeah. It's nice. I like the character too.
Thank you. Yeah. I kind of always had that design in mind for him when I was thinking of the character. And that's definitely a wig.
And
that's Danielle. She goes by many names on social media, Danielle.me, Danielle.vo. But Danielle is she's a really good voice actress. She does a lot of like audio stuff, audio drama, things like that. She's been on a couple episodes of Total Crap, or maybe it was one. I don't remember. I think it was just one, but she's been on P-Pop.
Yeah.
And she's going to be in this show. The character was originally the character was a lot of these characters I originally designed as opposite genders, and I kind of think I made the deputy a girl just so I can have Danielle on the show.
This is another design I really like.
Yeah, I really like how that came out.
She looks like she's got attitude.
Yeah.
Now the last picture you sent me, I don't know if you want me to show it. It's from another. It's not from this series. It's from something else.
Yeah, show it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's that dude. If you have played Super Mario Land before on Game Boy, is Tatanga. I will be voicing him on an upcoming series from the people who have created Total Drama, which is TOAD OL Drama. And they got like 2 million YouTube subscribers, something like that. And I'm pretty excited for it because I really like to voice evil villains, and I don't get to do it as much as I'd like to. So
that's awesome. Give me 1 second. My door just opened again. Even though with very thin, very lightly. One day I'm just going to tape this door shut or something. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so we got something else to show. I think it's time to show the clip.
All
right.
I think it'll be it's about time. I think people want to see it.
Yep. Let me make sure I'm set up on there. I want to enter the full screen and share. Okay, here we go, guys. I'm going to bring it back to the beginning. I don't know if it is. Oh, sorry, before I hit play. One more time. Oh, never mind. Go.
Get in.
So, do you take Venmo?
Do you speak English? I do not know what a Venmo is. Oh, God damn it.
Good evening. You know how fast you were going?
Not really, but you seem to be paying a lot more attention to that than I was, so you tell me.
License and registration.
Sure, let me just grab it. Asshole! Hey! What? I left my registration at home!
All right.
All right.
That was great. I don't know. Hold on. That was fantastic. Now, I've watched that clip. Honestly, I don't know how many times already. Hold on. I just want to show some comments. All right.
Oh my God.
Animations are awesome. I love the voices and the characters, by the way. Heck yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I got to say, listen, I enjoyed what I just watched. And I've watched that at least 4 times. Well, the one you sent me first, this is the updated one. This
Yeah.
I've only seen twice now. But I watched the first clip you sent me, which is really the same clip. You just added a little more to it. Yeah, I think you just added the ending credits to it.
I think I was originally, because I have 2 different versions of it. I have the proof of concept that I'm going to show people when I pitch it.
Yeah.
And then I have the actual beginning of the first episode, which is that. But that intro, I storyboarded that in a hotel room when I was on a work trip, because Zachary Thomas, who's doing the voice of the sheriff, and is also doing the music for the show, because that was another thing. I was like, I want to focus more on the story and the voice acting and the animation for this. I'm going to hand off the reins of the music to somebody else. And I asked Zach to do it, and at first he wrote like that surf thing that was in near the end. But then we kind of like agreed, like, we're like, maybe we should take this in sort of kind of like a doom rock / psychobilly horror punk kind of way, because it's the Jersey Devil, and this the way it's looking, it's like super kind of dark and dreary, kind of like something out of the Munsters or the Addams Family, which is something I've never really done in like a series before, and it's something I feel like I should have done a long time ago. He wrote that song when I was in Ohio, and I'm in the car with my friend, and I'm like, oh, he sent me the new updated theme. Let's take a listen to it. And that theme was like, I heard that and I'm like, all right, I know what the intro is going to look like now. Sat down in my hotel room and I just storyboarded it out. I actually have it here because I kind of got this little notebook here.
I'm going to give you the full screen so we can see it better.
Okay. So this is the actual storyboard of the intro. You can see, and I wrote it to the music.
Yeah, I see that's the time down at the bottom.
Yes, I timed it out exactly.
Nice.
I was like sitting there with my phone, and I'm like, pause, wrote down to time, drew the little part. But yeah, there's I basically, because I went to Vegas a couple weeks ago for a friend's wedding, and I didn't want to just be sitting there in the airport doing nothing, drinking coffee. So I took the book, and before I even started doing any animation, I just did little concept art for it.
Yeah.
Don't really know how to share this one.
Good stuff. I love your style a lot.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
a lot of people when they look at animation or something, everyone always goes and thinks the what's on TV currently, what, or old school Hanna-Barbera, Looney Tunes, Disney, this certain style that I love that piece right there. That
with the beaver.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's going to be an episode where they fight a giant mutant beaver in the Genesee River
Oh,
in
that's
upstate New
fantastic.
York.
That's fantastic.
I was very much
Yeah.
all about that idea in the one episode.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
But anyway, let me just say what I was saying. I like that. Just your work is clean. I like that about it. A lot of people, and like I was saying, most people think of the more mainstream cartoons that you would see. I love seeing different styles. I heard a story once when Jim Henson would go to festivals like puppet festivals. He wouldn't be looking for someone who's doing the Muppets. He would be looking at someone who's not imitating them, who's doing
Right.
their own thing. And he would like to look at those types of shows. I kind of feel the same way. When I do my work and when I release my new animation, you'll see it's very Hanna-Barbera-ish,
I've always loved the Hanna-Barbera style.
Yeah.
Like I like, Looney Tunes is like that's like a national treasure and all that,
Yeah,
but like they had it down. They knew that if you want to get like a good animation out quick, you need to have simple characters. Like they knew that. That's kind of like I've taken a lot of that into consideration when I design my characters, because every single character I design for animation now, it's like it's done on purpose. Like you'll notice JD, he's very symmetrical. Like yes, he can turn his head, but like there's nothing like different on this side, nothing different on that side, because if you do that, you're going to be taking so much time to like draw him opposite and switch everything around. Yeah. Like you want to make your characters simple. You don't want to make them like, well, she's an exception because she's got an eye patch, but it's part of the joke in the episode. Here, this one's for Mike. I drew Freddy Fox kinda, but I didn't put the tail in there.
That's great. That's all great stuff. Yeah, I love. Actually, the guy who's doing the voices for me actually studied under Dawes Butler and Mel Blanc. So, the animation I'm doing is going to have a very classic Hanna-Barbera feel to it. That's the look I'm going for.
Wonderful. I watched the hell out of that when I was a kid. Here's BF, Big Feet. If we put him in the show, Pete from Peter and Pyle. Petey and Pyle is going to voice him because it's actually based on a whole. Because he does a lot of stand-up comedy and improv. He kind of did this whole little bit where he was Bigfoot, but he was like this old guy in the woods. And we kind of just started riffing in character, like Bigfoot would be all like, he's like, I'm BF, not your boyfriend, not your best friend, just BF, Big Feet. And we're trying to like write an episode where it's like the Jersey Devil and Steve have to go to the Pacific Northwest to get him to help with like something. They're doing like some little like scheme or something. And the whole time he's like, come on, Bigfoot, just put your pants on, let's go. And Bigfoot's like, I can't put any pants on, my feet are too big.
I like that. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
No, listen, I'm looking forward to this. I really am. In the meantime, while you're working on this, are you going to be posting any more other shorts on YouTube, or is this like your focus and you're kind of off the shorts for right now?
I have a couple of episodes of Total Crap I want to produce.
Okay.
In the next couple of weeks. I haven't done any the last 2 weeks because I've kind of been focusing on this just to get like something set in stone.
Yeah.
Because it's going to premiere in April at a film festival in Jim Thorpe, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Which I just talked to somebody about that today, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'd love to have your new show." And then when I get the pilot done from there, it's trying to talk to streaming services about picking it up, which I'm kind of hopeful for it. I mean, there's like a million animators out there who are like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get my show picked up," but a lot of people don't realize you need to have an original something. Like people don't watch YouTube and be like, oh, hey, that little 5-minute thing that this guy's been doing for 10 years, I want to pick that up and put that on, Netflix or Hulu. No, they look for stuff like, little web comics that haven't been put in anything yet, or like they'll see these things, like for instance, the Rick and Morty guy, Justin Roiland, like he did stupid animation for years, and then like trying to get picked up, and nobody cared. And then one day they're like, hey, Justin, do you want to do a series for Cartoon Network? He's like, yeah. Do you have an idea? No, I don't. So he had to come up with, he just took one of the dumb little shorts he did and kind of just molded it into an original series. Which a lot of times what you have to do. It's like Matt Groening from The Simpsons. Like, he went into Fox thinking, I'm going to make Life is Hell an animated series. And then when the people told him, they're like, well, we don't want Life is Hell. We want something new. So he sat down in the lobby, drew a couple of characters on a napkin and said, hey, it's The Simpsons. That's your all-American family.
Yeah. I'm such a fan of those guys. I don't know. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know if you can tell behind me is The Simpsons, but
oh, didn't notice that. I love Matt Groening's work.
Yeah.
Like, I'm actually, this is blasphemy, but I am actually a huge Futurama fan. That
blasphemy. It was such a good show.
Oh, thank God, because I have a friend who's huge on The Simpsons, and like I'll talk about Futurama constantly with him, and he's like, that show's stupid. It's just trying to be The Simpsons in space. It's like, no, it's not. There's so much more emotion to it.
Yeah, it's completely different.
The other show, the new one that he does, the Disenchantment,
yeah,
that's just as good. A lot of people don't like it. I think it's great.
I really have to sit down and watch it. I tried a few times, and it wasn't that I didn't like it. It's just other things going on in my life. I keep walking away from it. And it's like one day I just need to say, get out of the studio, just stop working, sit down and watch it. Because everything I've watched, I've watched the first few episodes and I've laughed. I've enjoyed what I've watched. I just haven't gotten past like episode 3. I keep going back and rewatching. So
yeah, I feel like it just kind of filled the void that Futurama left, but I also feel like Matt kind of was like he did Futurama, he's done with that. He wanted to do something different, which I totally get, because that's kind of where I'm at with Devil May Care. Like, I've talked to friends about this. Like, I love doing Crustoons, I love doing Wine and Dine, Ted and Simon. But I think halfway through Ted and Simon, I kind of realized I'm like, every single animated series I've done has been about some aspect of my life, and I kind of want to get out of my life and do something just out there, completely unique. Like, not just do like a caricature of me, you know what I mean? Just do something just new and exciting and unpredictable. And it's kind of where Devil May Care came from.
And I think it's going to do very well. I mean, whether it's wherever it lands, it's going to find an audience.
Yeah.
And your work, like I said, I haven't watched everything you've done, but I've watched a lot. I've always laughed. And to me, that is the sign of a good cartoon. And this is my own personal preference. I like watching cartoons that have humor in there. All right. Not all cartoons today are humorous or are written well enough to make me laugh. Sometimes I'll sit and watch them, whether it's on TV, YouTube, wherever, and I'm just kind of very straight faced. If you can make me laugh, I'm going to be your fan. We mentioned Michael Cook earlier. He's been on the show. His work has made me laugh. One of the reasons I reached out to have him on the show. I like what he does. I like what you do. I'm very happy to have you on, promote it. When you finish the doing everything, or you're in the process of pitching or whatever it gets, I'd love to have you back on here. I'm just letting you know this in advance, because number one, I've thoroughly enjoyed chatting with you about this stuff.
I've enjoyed chatting with you too.
I'm going to be wrapping up in a few minutes. We're hitting that hour mark. But yes, no, I definitely want you back on. I would love to maybe show more of your work, and maybe get a couple of the animators, the maybe a few that you're working with that are in the comments right now. Maybe we'll do a little YouTube film festival of our own on here, as long as no copyright issues happen, in the future. And I'd love to see you guys and see the work, and just bring an audience to you. If whoever's my fans that haven't seen your stuff, I'd love to introduce them to the animation world more. I mostly have comic guests on. I want to bring more animation people on too. So.
Well, we do. There is a very big community right now of YouTube animators that I know that I didn't know existed until about January of last year, when Pete reached out to me and said, "Hey, you should be on this show where we show a bunch of animation." And I was like, "Okay." And then I just kind of met everyone from there, and started popping up on their shows. And I actually don't think that Devil May Care would be a thing right now if it weren't for the YouTube animation community, because when I wrote those scripts about 3 years ago, I kind of just had people in mind that like I knew to do voices, and I was like, no, they're not going to be what I want for this. And then when I kind of met all these people, it was like the pieces fell in place finally. Like, these are all dedicated people with talent that want to be a part of the show, and that's kind of exactly what I needed to kind of, kick me into wanting to get this started finally, because I've been working on this idea, this concept for, I want to say about like 10 years, almost 10 years now. But it's just, the pieces didn't fall in place until this year.
Yes, I agree. And we got PD and Pile saying support everybody. I completely agree. That's what this is about. It's a great community. I'm not officially part of the YouTube animators community because I don't post many animations, but I know a bunch of people who do YouTube animations. I know a bunch of people who are cartoonists, comic artists, whatever community you're in. It's a very supportive community. Everybody just wants everyone to do well and entertain, everybody else. Now, there's some people on here that I don't know just by their names if I've actually seen their animations. So I'm going to ask everybody who is a YouTube animator as well that are currently in the comments to post a link to your YouTube page, so we can, the rest of the audience can go check out what you guys are doing. PD and Piley said support I'm supporting you guys right now. Everybody, I'm going to give you guys a couple of minutes before I end, about a minute or so, to post your links. I haven't had a chance to post your links in, so let me get that up. So let's get, www.youtube.com/ and it has no underscore on this one.
On YouTube, no.
On YouTube, no. Okay. So, all right. So we got Chucky Chicken already posted. I just put in Ted Hazard, and that's Michael Cook right there. Everybody else, you gotta check out his stuff. His stuff is great too. Ted's in there. His Twitter and Instagram is at Ted Hazard with an underscore. So let me just post those in there while I'm giving people time to put their links. .com/ that is Twitter. And whoops, did I mess up? Oh no, I did. Okay. Instagram.com/ There we go. All right, guys. You guys can always post after. Because I'm gonna wrap up the show. I'm gonna end now. I want to thank everyone who watched tonight. Thank you, everybody. Who commented. Thank you for commenting. Ted, really thank you for coming on. I had a blast chatting with you. I hope you can hang out backstage for a few minutes.
Okay.
And, I wish you the best with all of this. I really think you got a really great project.
Thank you.
Here. And I if I can do anything to help support it other than, you know, with promoting you this way, please let me know.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. I'm going to drop you backstage and just do my wrap up. All right. All right, guys. So that was a very fun show for me. I am a, you know, big animation fan. For everyone who knows me, you know, I do animation, I do comics. I probably am more of an animator than a comic artist, and I love talking to other animators. You know, check out in the comments his YouTube page. Subscribe to it. Subscribe to all the pages that people have posted. I highly recommend that. Check out the work when you can. His work is really, really good, really funny. Remember all his social media, which has been scrolling across the bottom, which is there. You know, make sure to subscribe to and check out. And that's it, guys. Next week I'm going to have, let me just check my spreadsheet here. Next week I'm going to have fantasy author Kate Seeger, who is, I think, just finished her trilogy. She'll be on. We'll have a blast talking to her. I love fantasy stories and stuff. For, you know, Lord of the Rings behind me. You guys know I'm a fantasy dude. So yeah, you guys, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks to Ted again for coming on, and I will see you next week. Have a great rest of your week. Bye, guys.